Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It is Film Friday, and I'm Matt Verderame, and today we're going to look at a very, very notable play by the defense from Sunday's 24-10 win. We're looking at the start of the second quarter. It is Seattle's fourth drive of the game, and they are backed up. They're at their own 11, and it is third and 11, from the 15 rather. So Seattle backed up, you can see from the end zone view that we're looking at, in the shadow of their own goalpost. Seattle's got a pretty basic formation here. Right now, you're not going to be able to see the coverage because the coverage here is somewhat irrelevant. But the Chiefs played man. Okay, Seattle went with four guys in the pattern. DJ Dallas, the back here to Geno Smith's left. He's into protect if need be, and then he can leak out if he doesn't see anybody coming in that he has to pick up. And so for the Chiefs, the coverage was excellent downfield. But what we want to focus on this play is the front. And so what you see here is the Chiefs having four guys across the line of scrimmage from left to right, and then Bolton, who's coming up, who's threatening a blitz. And so if you look left to right, just on the line, excluding Bolton, you have Frank Clark, Mike Dana playing inside as a D tackle. Then you have Chris Jones, who's not in his typical spot between guard and center. He's actually between guard and tackle. Okay, so he's playing a wider technique than he normally would. And then George Karlaftis is really in almost of a wide nine stance all the way off the right tackle, okay? And so what the Chiefs are trying to do is get Seattle to call a protection here where they've got to go 1v1, where they've got to block one-on-one because with Bolton coming up, the line has to account for 5 potential rushers. Okay, if they don't and they're wrong, you got a big problem. Now Dallas is in there. As the running back, he could potentially pick up the blitz, but your call is always going to be here, 1 against 1 against 1 against 1 against 1. Okay? So, on 3rd and 11, the Chiefs could blitz. They're a blitzing team. They threaten it, but what's going to eventually happen here as we run this play, Bolton's going to drop out. Okay? He's not going to blitz. The Chiefs, on the right-hand side from our perspective now, with Karlaftis and Jones, they're going to rush straight up. Okay? Karlaftis is going to give an edge rush. Jones is going to give a bull rush, and I want to watch those two guys in tandem. It's very important to see how they play this. On the other side, Dan and Clark are going to run a game. Okay, they're going to run a twist. And everybody up front does their job in a way that if they can continue to do it like this, really, really beneficial for the Chiefs. So we're going to run it now. Okay, and you're going to see Geno gets the snap, and Bolton, initial step forward, but then he drops. But here's what you need to know. Smart call by Steve Spagnuolo, okay? What it does, just by having Bolton up there, look at the way Seattle has split its protections. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. The Chiefs knew that's a basic call. That's what you're going to get, all right? So Bolton draws the extra man over to his side, and it leaves a right guard one-on-one with Chris Jones. That's a win for the Chiefs every time. And leaves the right tackle one-on-one with Karlaftis, no help, okay, because the back is sidecar to the left. And what you're seeing is Dallas is going to go out into a pattern. Okay, the back goes out. Now, as we stop it here, look at Chris Jones literally has the right guard off the ground. He has both feet off the ground. There's nowhere to go but back if you're the guard here. Now, the center realizes Bolton's dropping. Okay, Bolton is now going into coverage with DJ Dallas. So he's forgotten about the blitz. He's done his job. He's drawn the coverage, or the lineman over to his side. Meanwhile, Dan is crashing hard toward the left tackle. Okay, he's taken the left guard with him. He's crashed hard at the left tackle. Frank Clark is looping around. All right, now, the center, in theory, should be able to pick Frank Clark up along with the guard who should pass off Dana to the left tackle. But Chris Jones is destroying the right guard in a way that the center, who's very aware who's on his right guard one-on-one, is cheating over and going, okay, I got to help. I've got to help here. We got a big problem. Karlaftis, meanwhile, has done a great job of using his strength and his hand position to get the edge. And now he's going to use his bend and his hips to continue to drive through. Okay, and as we run it a little bit more, you're going to see Karlaftis using the arm to rip, the right arm to rip through the block. He's now beating his guy clean. Jones is immediately getting pressure with the center coming over to help. This is going to set up Clark, who's coming on the loop to get pressure. Now, don't forget about Dana here. Dan is the forgotten man on this pass rush. He has taken on the left tackle and the guard. He's taken 40% of the line out of the play by crashing hard, by really doing a nice job on the grunt work of the twist, okay? And as you see, the rest of the way, we'll play it here in a second. Karlaftis is going to get the sack, and deservedly so. But the pressure from Jones and from a looping Clark makes it all happen. And as the play finishes up and Karlaftis gets the sack, you see a mass of humanity around Geno Smith. Even Dana comes crashing in through a double team and lands right at Geno Smith's feet. Okay, you could not have a better four-man rush. Chiefs play a little game on one side. They get their two best pass rushers at this point in Jones and Karlaftis one-on-one. They did that with just a little bit of a wrinkle by just walking Bolton up to the line. They didn't hurt their coverage integrity because he was able to drop and take the back. That is the kind of defense you want to see from the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward. Smart, simple, efficient. The Chiefs did nothing special there. It was not exotic. And yet it worked perfectly because they got all the looks they wanted to get. They knew what they were going to get. They forced Seattle's hand, and then they went and they did the last thing that might be the hardest thing week in and week out. They executed it. Kudos to the coaching. Kudos to the players. Karlaftis with the sack. Chiefs win 24-10.